Think of choosing a business entity like choosing a car. You can buy a Tesla and expect it to perform like a Lexus. Instead of focusing on what's popular, you need to focus on what fits. Starting the business without understanding entity types is like walking into a dealership without knowing what you want. One of the most expensive mistakes entrepreneurs make, it isn't marketing, it's not how you hire, it's not even a strategy. It's choosing the wrong business entity. From the very beginning, your entity choice affects too many variables: your taxes, personal liability, your ability to raise capital, flexibility, even how much money you keep. In this video, I'll show you how to think about choosing the right entity for your business. Your legal entity is the foundation of your business. It determines who is legally responsible if something goes wrong. That's liability. How much tax are you going to have to pay? And how you pay it. Those are the levels of taxation. How easy is it for you to add partners, investors, right? That's the capital raise potential. Whether your personal assets are protected, that's risk. How attractive your business looks to banks, buyers, and even private equity partners, that's the growth potential. You see, these decisions impact how far your business can go, what it can do, and what it can do. So what are the main types of business entities that you should know about? Number one, you've got the sole proprietorship. As a sole proprietor, you are the business, and the business is you. You think of freelancers, coaches, consultants, YouTubers, independent contractors, many professional athletes, they fall into this category. The key point of the sole proprietorship is there's no legal separation between you and the business. It's very easy to form. There's no legal protection, and your personal assets are fully exposed. So the second type of business entity you should know is a partnership. A partnership exists when two or more people come together to own a business. And there are two kinds of partnerships you should think about. In a general partnership, all partners are active and share responsibility and liability. Common examples, think of your firms, think of accounting firms, medical practices, right? Real estate brokerages. This is where the structure works when skilled professionals combine their expertise to increase market share, but trust and agreements are critical. Here, each partner is liable for the other's actions because there is unlimited liability. Then you have a limited partnership. This is very common in the private equity world. If you think of Blackstone, Carlyle Group, Greywalk, Commerce Street Financial Partners, these are very successful funds, right? In this structure, the general partner, the GP, is an active member with unlimited liability. The limited partners or LPs, these are passive, high net worth and institutional investors, and their liability is limited to their investment. The GP is the active brain of the operation, and LPs provide capital and are passive, and they take limited risk. Now let's talk about the limited liability company, the LLC, the business entity that most people know about. An LLC is a separate legal entity that provides liability protection not available to sole proprietors. LLC is sole proprietorship plus limited liability. This is the most common structure for small and mid-sized entities, right? For many reasons: flexible tax treatment, fewer formalities than corporations. LLCs are popular for good reason, as they provide significant flexibility from an operating and tax compliance perspective. But they're not always the best choice. Right? That depends on your goals. Let's move to the next one. The next group of business entities, those are corporations. So now you've got a C-Corporation. A C-Corporation is a separate and distinct legal entity and the only entity type that can issue stock. That's why companies in the stock market are C-Corporations, most of those companies. It's the structure designed for scalability and capital markets. Right? These are strong because they have strong liability protection and they provide the largest opportunity for capital raise. But the one drawback is they are subject to double taxation. Now, with respect to S-corporations, remember an S-corporation is not an entity type. It's a tax election. It avoids double taxation. Profits and losses are passed directly to owners. Under the right circumstances, LLCs can elect S-Corp status for tax efficiency. If you would like me to do a separate video where we go over the pros and cons of each entity type, just drop in the comment section pros and cons, and we can create a separate video for each of the different entities on some of the pros and cons. Let's move. How then should you go about choosing the right entity? Instead of focusing on what's popular, you need to focus on what fits. Ask yourself a few questions. How much personal risk am I willing to take? How many levels of taxation will apply? What are the compliance costs and the complexity of implementation? How easy would it be to raise capital? What are my long-term business goals? You see, entity selection should support where you're going, not just where you are today. So I've created a high-level chart showing a tabular comparison of these responses with respect to each of the 5 types of entities we discussed. A link to the chart in the comment section as my gift to you. Save it for future reference. So what are the main takeaways? Remember, entity choice isn't about what's trending. LLC is not always the answer. It's about what aligns with your strategy, your risk tolerance, and your long-term vision. Think of choosing a business entity like choosing a car. You can buy a Tesla and expect it to perform like a Lexus. Each attracts a completely different customer with different priorities. Starting a business without understanding entity types is like walking into a dealership without knowing what you want. In that scenario, the salesperson will sell you what earns them the highest commission, and that gamble may not always work in your favor. Sometimes you might even be in a level where you need multiple entities implemented. If this video helps you, like the video, subscribe for more practical business education, drop a comment if you want a deeper big breakdown of the pros and cons for the different entity types. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.